Welcome, everyone. Welcome. It is so nice to have you all here from the amazing human design entrepreneurs community. Welcome to everyone who is tuning in. I couldn't be more delighted and happier that there was so much enthusiasm for this particular topic. I mean, I'm not surprised because if you're tuning in right now, I know you love human design, and this is great. There's been a lot of people that have expressed interest. So let's make this interactive. Let's get to know each other. And do me a favor, let me know in the comments or in the chat, what is your human design type? What's your human design type, your profile, your authority, and your type? And if you know your incarnation cross, you can include that. Also, it's helpful to me if you comment if you're watching live right now. So just chat live. Hello, Carrie, Kathy, Angie, thank you so much for coming. So comment live if you're watching this live right now. If you're catching the replay later, type in replay. That helps me know when everybody's tuning in. One more thing I'd like to hear from you before we begin is some context of what we're going to be talking about. What's your business? Briefly, what's your business? What is it that you are passionate about that you do? You can share some links, share your social media. I'd love to check those out as well. Let's get personal. Tell me what it is that you're up to. And so we can apply that to the practical application of what we'll be discussing today. So today's topic of why everyone is here. We're going to be talking about attracting clients using your human design. So if you have been pushing or forcing, this is going to help you shift that energy in a completely other direction to attract and bring people to you as opposed to the other way around. Some of the topics that we'll cover more in depth, and this is going to be a little bit more advanced in some areas. I'm going to go into some circuitry, which has to do with the gates and the channels of which circuitry in your chart applies to business principles. And I'm even going to attempt to do some planetary impacts, the planetary symbols in your chart. We'll cover that. And then we'll get into specifically by your design type. So that's ultimately what people want to know about is, how does this work for me as an individual? So client attraction by design type. Those are essentially some of the bonuses that I'm going to cover in more of a training approach. I'm also going to be sharing the details of a 90-day roadmap. If you're looking for more direct support, I'm going to cover what that looks like on a daily and a weekly basis to have practical guidance on these steps we're going to be talking about today. Kay, great to see you here. And Carrie, great, nice to see people sharing their social media and their business. I love to see that. All right, so I'm going to begin with an orientation and a welcome on a bit of a presentation, as I tend to do. Okay, so it's 4 o'clock. It's been 7 minutes already, so 4:07, and I'm going to attempt to do this concisely in 45 minutes. So till 4:45 Central Standard Time is when we'll be meeting and going over these topics. If it's not already obvious, there's a lot that I have to share in terms of resources, so stick around until the end, and 45 minutes is when we'll wrap it up. But who this particular training is for, if you are an educator providing education, it doesn't necessarily have to be on human design itself. It's just people who use human design and want to apply it to their business. If you're a creative, I find that's a good term that people use to just, I do things that are creative, or a coach in a more traditional coaching sense. But basically, if you're an entrepreneur or a business owner, and the unifying factor is just want to be yourself. So if generic coaching didn't work for you, I hear this quite often. I have experienced it myself, that generic coaching maybe didn't work for you, and that's what brought you to human design or has brought you to wanting to implement it into your business more. This training would not be for you if you're not a business owner, you're not growing a business, or you're not familiar with human design. It may not be applicable to you. Or if you're not wanting to increase your leads and gain traction and bring in new clients. I know that some of those terms can be aversive to people sometimes when they're just wanting to manifest and attract, and trust me, I get it. But I hope to communicate in this training the importance of both, of attracting leads, bringing in leads, having a system in place, all the traditional business principles integrated with your human design and your way of doing things that work for you. What's in this training for you is learning about attracting clients with your human design. And then I'll have a special offer at the end, specifically for people who are attending this event. And sticking around until the end, you'll hear more about this special offer that I'll be opening up to people on a promotional basis for one-on-one guidance focused on you, your chart, and how that applies to your business specifically. And then as usual, I have free resources to give away for people who aren't ready to get started as of yet. So one thing specifically that I think you'll really love is an Increase Your Price guide. I've gotten a lot of feedback on this over the years of apprehensions of increasing your price. So if you're at a point now where you could be charging more, this is a sequential, methodical way to gradually increase your prices to move more into the mid to high ticket range. I'm also going to throw in the audience and marketing design workbook. So those are free resources at the end of the training. So stick around for those. All right, the 3 topics we're going to discuss. Like I said, I was going to just do 3, but as I prepare these trainings, I get so much good feedback and requests, and I can't help but investigate into those. And so there's some really cool things I want to talk about in terms of planetary symbols, and then the business circuitry in your chart, and then we'll go type by type. The core principles of what I'm going to go into after that is the Human Design Entrepreneur's Roadmap. I'll give a full overview of that and an overview of the step-by-step of the 12 weeks of what that would look like if we were to work together in the future. And then lastly, the free Increase Your Price guide and the resources and more details about the bonuses and the special offer at the end. A little bit about the Human Design Entrepreneurs community. This was founded in December of 2021. It's grown steadily to 1.5 thousand amazing members. I've been so happy that there's been so many, such a shared aspiration and affinity for using human design to grow your business. When I started out, I wasn't sure how much this was going to resonate with people or how much people were using human design in their business. Turns out it's a lot. So it's been growing, and it's been so nice to see that. The ethos as part of the community is a mutual respect for individual perspectives of human design, because I'm very clear on it being an experiment. I think ultimately human design is about an experiment, and it's not about deciding who's right or wrong or dogma or orthodoxies or trying to tell people what to do. I really believe in a win-win situation for everybody and collaboration, that if you're doing well, I'm doing well, and vice versa, and a rising tide lifts all ships. The specific problem that this community is committed to solving is the problem of generic coaching, of things that are, the one size fits all, or a cookie cutter approach, or a template or something that you are wanting to make your own and have your own style with it. This quote by Bruce Lee, I find it embodies the ethos and the spirit of this community. It says, absorb what is useful, reject what is useless, add what is essentially your own. In the chat, type in Bruce Lee if that resonates with you and you understand this. I love that quote. A brief story on how this community came to be in the first place is I personally had gone through a lot of generic coaching, which was great. It worked at first, and it still works to this day, but only after I reverse engineered a lot of it, because like many of you here, right now, you might just have a burning desire to be yourself and feel limited and stifled by having to do things a certain way. I understand that. So I've seen how the problem is the need to learn the principles and the basics of business, but without conditioning. And without conditioning being the operative term here, anybody who has gotten involved with human design for very long understands this, is you go through such a deconditioning process that if you have a particular way of being told what to do, it can interfere with your deconditioning experience. So the answer I have found, and I imagine a lot of people have found here in the profundity of human design, is it helps you remember who you are and stay true to yourself despite any future conditioning that might happen. If that resonates with you, in the chat, type in HD. HD if that resonates with you. It's all about a chart reading, or it begins with a chart reading of feeling very connected to it, saying this is who I am, and going, yes, this is what I came here to do. All right, to lead into our first topic, I'm going to attempt to do this justice. I refer to the planetary symbols as planetary symbols as opposed to astrology. So disclaimer, I am not an astrologer. I find it fascinating. I think it's very cool. I stick more with human design and things in the body graph. However, the orientation, if you have your chart up, and in fact, if you don't have your chart up right now, this would be a good time to pull it up and take a look, because I'm going to go over a lot of specific examples. And so if you can reference them in real time as I'm speaking about it, and if you let me know in the chat afterwards of like which actual gates you have in these particular planetary symbols, I can go through and give you some feedback when I have some time afterwards. I love doing that afterwards. So in your chart, give me some specific references for what these are for you in your chart. That said, when you look at the planetary symbols on the left and the right side, they're pretty striking. So the left side, it says design. That's a bit vague. This has to do with your life. It's also referred to as unconscious. You could say your current incarnation, if you want to phrase it that way. I refer to it as self-evident, just this life that you're currently living. Those gates are unconscious. They're on that side of life. And then on the right side, these gates and these planetary symbols relate to, it says personality in traditional human design, but this to me speaks to being conscious about your soul's journey, and in a deeper, a broader, more metaphysical sense of your soul and your ongoing evolution, perhaps past this life if there is a next one. Next here, okay, this is as simple as I could make this, so bear with me. I'll give you some of the logic of the breakdown of what this means, of how each of the planetary symbols can apply to you and attracting clients and being yourself, and how you can apply this to your business. So I want to direct your attention first to the top two planetary symbols, which are the sun symbols. They're at the top for a reason, because they're essentially the most important aspect of your chart. It makes up 70% of your chart. It's one of the core aspects of your incarnation cross, your life story. I refer to this as your life purpose and your soul purpose. It's essentially answers the question of why you're here, what you do, and why you do it. So it's everything. So for now, for your business, in more of a granular view, just focus on these middle three. It looks like six, but you've got three on the left side of life. It's basically saying that these gates apply to your life and these gates apply to your soul, which is essentially the same thing, but just go with me here for intellectual sake. Okay, so the first one I want to focus attention on is your moon gate, which has to do with what drives you. It's the cycle of life that drives you on a consistent basis. I draw this theme in a business sense of comment yes if you've heard the term momentum in business, or you've had coaching that says just keep the momentum going, keep the momentum going. And that can kind of get old, because not to do it injustice, but momentum itself is kind of weak because it has so many ebbs and flows. It's not necessarily a consistent drive. So it's a bit of a kind of a paradoxical thing. But inertia is more of the constant drive that's available, that's you can always tap into, that's always there. So drive, whatever drives you, is kind of the heart and soul of your business, of what you're inspired to do. Second down is your Mercury gates. Your Mercury gates are the theme or aspect you and your chart of what it is you're here to communicate about. And communication is the basis of your messaging. So you can look at this as your copywriting, your message, everything that you put out there that you want people to hear, your voice. This is tied into your Mercury gates. So for a brief example, mine are 19 and 51. So if you're looking at your chart, look at the Mercury symbol where the arrow's here of 19 and 51. This has, for me, it has to do with attunement and initiation, or initiatic experiences, as I call them. Okay, last one down is your Venus symbols. So if you look at Venus, which gates are in there, that is what you value and appreciate about relationships. And relationships, if you take away one thing from this training today, it's the importance of relationships. And relationships are the essence of attracting the right people, is it's prioritizing the relationship above all else, above business, above profits, above revenue, all of that. It's about the relationship, the connection that you have with people. That's what resonates. And ultimately results in clients. Relationships equal clients. Again, in the chat, let me know if this is clear to you, if you want to clarify anything, and what your particular gates are on your chart here in these three symbols. Okay, that wraps up that theme of the planetary symbols in your chart as they relate to business. Next, moving on to the quick overview of circuits. So if you're not familiar with the concept of circuits, I'm sure you're familiar at this point with gates and channels. Let me know in the chat, type a yes if you're familiar with both gates and channels, just so I know I'm kind of speaking at the level everybody's at. Okay, so a circuit, it's nothing new, it's not a new concept, it's just a series of channels in a specific sequence that make up a circuit. And this so happens, what you're looking at right now, this body graph, is the business circuitry in the chart. I want to give a very direct disclaimer about this too, because if you're looking at your chart and the first thing people tend to see is going, oh, which gates do I have, or which ones are activated? But if you haven't heard this before, I want to make it very clear that you have all the chart. You have each gate. It's just a matter of which one is active or not. If it's not activated, you wouldn't say you don't have it. It's just the same as a center that's not defined. You still have that center. You have the energy of that center. It's simply flexible. There's more nuance to it. It can be activated by transits. It can be activated by other people in your life. So it doesn't matter. I think I have maybe, if you want to put it that way, I have two or three of these gates activated in the circuitry. In the chat, type I have all the chart if this resonates, if you get that. If not, let me know in the comments afterwards. We'll talk. Okay, so 5432, that channel, 4426, and then it branches into 4037 up to 2145. And this is really cool as I was looking into this more, because these are all tribal channels. It's just deeply ingrained in our DNA of what we do, of how to collaborate and trade. And this is, we're just moving into the modern era of what that looks like. These are all tribal circuits. And they're 3 out of 4 are projected channels, meaning that they're all based on the principles of projectors, of having to wait to be invited. Wait to be invited. So if you're feeling resistance in your business, it could be because these business channels have to wait to be invited and recognized. with the exception of 2145, which is a manifested channel, which we'll get into on the next slide in more detail. This is a manifested channel, and it's all about distributing resources. So it's the manifestation aspect of the business circuit. All right, a little more focused in on the business circuitry in the chart. The most concise, clear way I could attempt to convey this to everyone was each gate kind of has a life of its own, so to speak. And so each theme has an aspect of you or a quality, and each one asks you a specific question. That's why it's good to tune into yourself and hear what's within, because those are the answers for your business. But here's a prompt for some questions that might be there to kind of tune into in a business sense. And notice the arrows from the root center up to the splenic center to the will center. It has kind of a direction to it. It's certainly not linear, but that's the principle behind it. It starts from gate 51. Gate 51 in the root center. This is the gate of inspiration or divine inspiration. So the initial seed or inception point of your business concept is this inspiring? That's the key question. Is it inspiring to you? Is it inspiring to other people? If not, why do it? Sustainability is the theme throughout all these too. So if it's inspiring to you, to other people, to the internal and the external, then we move up to gate 32, which is timing. Timing is crucial in your own life. Is it the right time for you? Do you have time for this? Are you working full-time, part-time? Are you all in? Are you committed? Is this the right time? Also, reflects in the external for the market. That's very important too, because it could be the right time in your life, but you have to time the market. You can be, some of the best ideas are probably ahead of their time. So it may not be ready. The world may not be ready for what you have to offer. So is it timed right in the market? If yes to those two, then we move up to gate 44, which is the gate of truth in the splenic center. So is this truthful? That's kind of self-evident, because if something isn't truthful in the broad perspective of being in harmony with life and nature, it's like if nature supports what's truthful. There's this beautiful quote that came to mind as I was preparing this from ancient Vedic literature, which is Satyam Jaya Avate. Satyam Ava Jayate. It means the truth alone triumphs. So you want to make sure there's truth behind what you're doing. It feels genuine. It feels authentic to you. If this resonates with you, type in what those gates are and specifically what resonates about that particular theme. Okay, over to gate 26. Gate 26, and this particular channel here, 4426, is often referred to as the channel of the salesperson or the entrepreneurial channel. It's all about creating resources. So it's integrity. Is this being done with integrity? And then we branch down to 4037, which I think it's left out a lot of traditional business paradigm in a lot of ways. Is gate 40 is the gate of restoration. So are you resting? Is this sustainable for your energy? Down to gate 37, which is particularly important for entrepreneurs to also be collaborative and grow a community. Emotional connections, it's in the emotional solar plexus. So what you're doing growing a community? Okay, and then back up to gate 21, it's the gate of self-regulation. The traditional name for it is the treasurer. So it has that energy to it of treasury. Does it properly regulate resources, the revenue that you're bringing in? There's a kind of a cliche term for that, but it's like nobody likes controlling resources, but the reason there's a treasurer in a business is because everyone likes a full bank account. So with revenue coming in, proper self-regulation of resources, then up to gate 45, which is all about the manifestation of, does it properly distribute the resources? Do you have payroll? Or do you have subscriptions to pay each month to properly distribute those resources to continue to fund your business in the long term? All right, in a chat, let me know, say yes if this resonates with you, if you like this topic, if you want to hear more of it, and we'll chat afterwards. I'm moving right along. I'm already taking forever because I'm waiting for the day when I get tired of human design. And I don't know about you guys, but it's going on a long time. And it just continues to intrigue me and fascinate me. And I'm always all in. But those are the names for the gates, primarily from quantum human design. They're for everyone who's looking for the reference of 21 through 54. But I want to draw your attention to there are specific names, of course, from human design of what each of these channels are. And you can look that up, or I can share it in the comments if somebody has a particular question of what those name of those channels are. But the theme that I saw emerge is kind of from the business world is just these four simple concepts of from the initial idea of the inspiration is this the startup phase. You're starting everything up. Then you move into just the simple ebb and flow of creating resources and distributing resources. That's ultimately what business and entrepreneurs do. They kind of create something out of nothing. I think that's why I love entrepreneurs so much. You're creating something. It's just, you're able to monetize ideas in a way. You have ideas and then you can get paid for it. It's kind of like magic. So you create resources and then you distribute them and sharing and kind of bringing back in. And then ultimately the channel of 4037 is about growth. You know, are you growing? Are you scaling? Last but not least, for the bonus topics about, I think, why a lot of people are here is client attraction by type. Type a yes in the comments if this is what you're most interested in. I kind of saved it for last. But I will tell you, doing any kind of generic human design is not easy because I don't want to lead anybody astray, because it's really ultimately about being I call it your whole beingness, being all of you. And that's being your whole chart as opposed to limiting yourself to, I have to do things by this specific strategy, because you can have two generators, two projectors, two manifestors, two reflectors who are wildly different from each other, who might go about doing things in a completely different way. That said, there are some ways that you can set up the initial conditions. So I have this example for you that I find is justifiable to apply to each of the design types. Keeping in mind the preamble that I always emphasize is the importance of relationship first principles. It's ultimately about the relationship. You can mess up, so to speak, or not get it right, or not follow strategy and authority, big deal. If you maintain the relationship, that comes across as genuine. No one's gonna, if somebody calls you out and says you didn't do that by strategy, which I've had happen before, like people say, hey, projector, why are you initiating something with me? I didn't ask you. And I'll just say right now that, well, that would be another live stream, but that's a particular orthodoxy and dogma in human design I don't have a lot of patience for. I emphasize experiment with what works. So anyways, moving on. Okay, so I like to direct you to the example here of a call to action that can be the basis for any design type to set you up for using your strategy, say, in the proper way. So the call to action is, this community specializes in client attraction using human design. You can modify that to whatever your result is, whatever you bring people, but that's what it is. It brings you this result, client attraction using your human design chart. Very important in the wording. Would you like to be contacted with more info to learn how? Because you can talk all day about the theory behind it, but everybody ultimately wants to know the how. How do I do this? How do I solve this particular problem? And then very clear is yes or no. This is where you're giving people the opportunity to opt in or out, to qualify themselves in or out of your offer. So after this particular question is answered, that gives you a tag for people who are raising their hand. They're opting in. They're saying, yes, I want to be contacted. This is something alone that can bring you from pushing, trying to ask people, kind of feeling like a door-to-door salesperson, like, do you want to hear about this? It's asking the question of, do you want to hear about this, and bringing people to you. So step one is setting up this attraction type of question for your strategy. Step two, this is essential too, is rather than just pushing your offer right away, that's not the emphasis for any design type, I would say. It's making sure, if you tuned out at all, listen to this part. Make sure you can help them first. That will go a long way. I call it providing results and a positive experience and benefits in advance. Hopefully, if you've done this right, people already know you. You provided them with resources and trainings and live events and being part of your community. And so that goes a long way where they already know, they kind of show up intrigued and possibly ready to buy already. Then, based off of that, making an informed offer. So to go type by type, we'll start with manifestors because it's not necessarily just initiating right off the bat. Type in the chat if you're a manifester. Type manifester. Let me know. Okay, so once somebody they say yes. Yes, I'm interested. Then manifestors initiate and inform after the yes about your offer. So this is where you can inform, initiate the conversation in the traditional sense. Then go through a pre-qualification process, have a call or two, get to know them, develop the relationship, determine if you can help them first, then make the offer. That's what I would recommend. Now, it's the same kind of theme as far as the other design types for determine if you can help them first and then making the offer, but you can go about it in a more kind of nuanced way. Type in the chat if you're a generator or manifesting generator, and then let me know how this resonates with you. Again, it can be generic, so you have to kind of make it your own. But after receiving the yes, the potential lead a lead would like to hear from you, then you're waiting for that. So that's where the waiting comes in. When somebody says yes, which when you have efficient lead flow coming in and they say yes, you shouldn't be waiting too much. You always have things to respond to and things to do, but it's responding to the correct thing that resonates with you specifically. So wait to respond to the yeses that you get, then determine if you can help them and blah, 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 blah. Comment in the chat if you're a projector. Where are the projectors at? So waiting, I think projectors want to hear about what do I do while I'm waiting? So you ask these questions. You're sharing what your offer is. Hey, I have this offer that specializes in client attraction by human design. Would you like to be contacted? If a yes, that's recognition. That's invitation to reply to them and go through this process. Any reflectors here? Comment if you're a reflector. And it's even more nuanced, but it's about waiting still for the right timing. What's the right timing? And then as opposed to responding or waiting for an invitation, it's more on the basis of curiosity. So inquire about what they're looking for and if you can help them. All right, that's what I have for client attraction by type. Now, to get into the hows, this is where I have an overview of what it is that I do and how I work with people to guide them through this process in a completely tailored and personalized way for them based on their human design chart, which I call the Human Design Entrepreneur's 90-Day Self-Exploration Roadmap. Comment if you've heard of this before, if you've heard me talking about it. I've talked about it, but this is where I'm really going in depth of what each step is. It's a bit of a wordy title, I admit, so I just refer to it usually as the roadmap or the 90-day roadmap. Each step that we would cover is in phase 0 to 5. Phase 0 is all about, the whole thing's about you, but this is particularly about you through an in-depth human design reading together to gain self-awareness, to ensure that your business is tailored to your human design chart as much as possible. So this is where you get into aligning your chart to every aspect of your business. Phase 2, and more of the foundational sense of, where's your revenue coming from? What are your particular aspirations and milestones of where you want to increase your revenue to? So where you're at, and then defining where you want to go, and then legitimizing your business. I'll go more in depth in that in a minute. But phase 2 is message and offer building, defining your offer and defining your message. Phase 3, audience, who's your audience and how are you marketing to them? We go into the practicals of your email campaign, your email sequencing, and social media. Those are kind of the two main things nowadays to do marketing, is through email and social media. And then emphasis on sustainable content creation. Everyone's doing content creation, but how do you make it sustainable for you where you're not just having to post all the time? which some people like doing, but again, it's unique to each person. Phase 4, attracting buyers. This is crucial for anybody at any place where they're in their business, is establishing long-term relationships and attracting people to your offer, not the other way around. Phase 5, scaling and sustainability. Focus on how can you automate this, delegate as much as you can, and then simplify. This is an overview of the 12 weeks where we'd be working together. First few weeks, we're going to be focused on your chart, doing a human design reading. Next few weeks, we'll get into your audience and your offer. Keeping in mind that if you're more advanced in your business and these things are dialed in for you already and you're good, it's a roadmap and it's designed to be able to go to where you want to in the roadmap based on what's most pressing, poignant, and relevant to you every time we meet. But these are kind of the milestones or the waypoints of the roadmap. Define your audience, define your offer. Are those two congruent? Do they match your prospective clients that you're putting your offer in front of? And then we go through a process of efficient client flow. This is something that I find is useful for everybody because the predictability, in order to get to a point where you're scaling, you're needing to have predictability of where your next client's coming from, as opposed to just kind of waiting around hoping where they might come from. And then in the spirit of collaboration, I like to promote people in the human design entrepreneurs community as much as possible. So putting a feature and a promotion cycle for you within the community, and then kind of ending with a professional endorsement and a graduation certificate. On a daily and weekly and monthly basis of what that looks like of receiving guidance, Monday through Friday, you have access to messenger support with me directly. If you're looking for any kind of feedback you want to talk through or workshop something, that's on a daily basis that we can chat about that. Weekly, there's assessment forms to gauge your progress, how things are going for you. So we're always staying on top of where you're at, ensuring success along the way. On a 2-weekly basis, so every other week, every other week, we meet for one-on-one Zoom sessions together to talk in depth about what it is that's going on in your business and tracking your progress along the roadmap. I'll be totally honest about the creation of this roadmap. I'm not sure this audience will understand this, I think. I'm not sure if I channeled it or downloaded it or whatever. It just kind of came to me. I feel like any creative thing that's intriguing and just kind of comes to people, like a song or poetry or something you create. So it came to me, and I'm learning it myself as I go, but it's what I found is it was this, I feel called forth to share both, you could say, the yin or the feminine principles of business, which are certainly non-linear. And that's true with even the linear process of business, which you could say is more of the yin. Because even when it becomes linear, you might go, okay, I've been doing this for a while, I know what I'm doing. And you're getting into scaling, you're bringing in clients and revenue. But a lot of times it's like the upkeep or the maintenance of a structure or a home. Like, do you need to go back to some of the foundational components and take a look at that? Are there things that can be readdressed? But that's essentially what it is. It's a graphical representation of all the principles and phases of entrepreneurs through nonlinear and linear approach. Okay, I'm going to get kind of to the end here. There will be these slides available afterwards on the free resources. I'll provide these slides so you can look into them. But I'm getting close to our time with 45 minutes, and I want to make sure that everybody stays on and gets an opportunity for the free resources and to have a chance to have a call and see if this is the good timing for you. But when you refer back to these slides, this is each phase on the map, and it's highlighted of, in this phase, trusting yourself. Self-study of human design. I'll help guide where to study human design on your own, but you'll receive a human design reading, and we can talk about human design the whole time. Outcome, ultimately clarity on your life and soul purpose and how it applies to your business. That's kind of a core theme too, is how is this integrated into your business to be practical? Phase 1, legitimizing your business. Are you properly set up with a LLC, S Corp, or equivalent? What does the financial picture look like? How are we going to increase your revenue over time? And then rest and routine. Phase 2, notice the emphasis on if it's relevant here. If you're good, if it's dialed in, your message and offer is good, we can skip that and get right to the heart of what it is you want to talk about that's most important for you. But in this phase, defining your message, defining your audience, who's your ideal client, and then defining your offer. Do all of those three match kind of seamlessly together? Phase 3, we get into kind of the basics of email list, your cadence and your sequencing for your email, social media, how you're marketing and reaching out to your clients, potential clients on a regular basis, and then content creation, developing a game plan for sustainable content creation. Phase 4, I call this the heart phase. It's all about coming from your heart and and for it to feel authentic and genuine for you. So lead generation or interest generation of developing relationships, having a buying mechanism. This is an area where I feel like people can spend a lot of time on that they forget, is what is the actual mechanism or how people opt in to your offer in the first place. It's usually in the form of having calls with people to get to know them and vice versa, or a workshop of some kind, a masterclass, a live stream to inform people about what your offer is in the first place. This phase is all about relationship building. Phase 5, even if you aren't in the advanced stages of your business for scaling and sustainability, these are things to envision and keep the end in mind of where you're headed, because even the foundation has to do with where you're headed. So how can you develop things that are more standardized, that are going to be scalable, that aren't too complex? All right, so everybody who's on the call today is going to qualify for a special bonus and potentially a guarantee. I want to emphasize that this is for qualified individuals only. I only have 5 spots available currently, so I'm not able to offer this to everybody, but the bonus is $500 off the one-time investment. And then bonus 2 is 3 user guides on human design and how it applies to your business. The 4 qualified individuals guarantee is my commitment to your ongoing success, to genuinely want to see you be successful, is that I'll work with you one-on-one for additional weeks in the course if you don't receive the full investment back from your own client revenue. So what you generate on your own, from your own offer, from your own revenue after the 90 days, I will then work with you for additional weeks. That would be from having a pre-qualification call and see if you're approved together. If you're interested in this, even if you're on the fence, even if you're emotional authority, which I am as well, I get it. If you are even interested in this potentially for the future, type in roadmap. So comment in the chat roadmap, and we'll just have a call. And it could be a chat. Maybe you say, I'm not ready for this, but I'm intrigued, and I can offer you some additional resources and kind of help you on your way. And maybe it's something we can work on together in the future. That's totally cool. This offer for the promotion ends in less than a week. So the 27th on midnight, again, whichever one comes first, either midnight on the 27th on Wednesday or when all 5 spots are taken. Again, comment roadmap in the chat if you want to have an assessment on your business, see if you qualify to receive the guidance of one-on-one through the 90-day roadmap. Either myself or someone on the team, probably either be me or Tori, will be in touch with you through Messenger if you comment roadmap right now, and we'll see if it's a good match, see if it's a good opportunity for you. That's what it's all about. Again, the steps are through the 12 weeks, how to read your human design type, how your design type is uniquely built to run a successful business in the first place. Step 2, we'll take an in-depth look at your message and your copywriting. Step 3, we'll craft an offer together or fine-tune it if you already have it, if it's dialed in. to be aligned with your ideal target clients. Step 4, we'll develop a specific game plan for how to market effectively in a way that's going to work for you, that feels right according to your design. And then lastly, step 5, expedite your path to efficient client attraction. And then the wholeness of that is sequencing all those steps together in a way that is going to work for you in the long term as opposed to the short term. Again, the bonus here on this call, if you comment roadmap right now, is $500 off the full investment. The 3 user guides on human design and business, and seeing if you qualify for the guarantee that even beyond the 90 days of work together one-on-one. All right, the moment that a lot of people have probably been waiting for also is the free resource. This is something that I want everyone to be able to have. And so after this live stream, if you're here now, or even if you're on the replay, comment guide. So type guide into the chat. I will send you a copy of these slides right here. You can go back and look at all the cool stuff from the charts and the circuits and the things we covered there. I'll also send you the increase your price guide. This is a systematic way to go from whatever your current price is to justifiably increase the price of your offer over time. And then I'll throw in the audience and marketing by design user guide and workbook as well. Any comments, feedback, questions, things you want to chat about? I will reply in the comments for as much time as I have after this live stream ends. Any aha moments, anything you learned, any good takeaways, I would love to hear that from everyone as well. So as I sign off here, I want to take another moment. This truly comes from my heart, and it means so much to me that everybody's here. My guess is that if you've been on the call, if you're still on the call right now, that we've had some sort of relationship, or I've shared a resource with you of some kind, or you've benefited from the human design entrepreneurs community. That means the most to me. So thank you so much for being here, for being a part of this experience. If you would like to work together, potentially long term, I'd love to be in touch with as many people as possible. Again, if you're on the fence, just comment roadmap. It's just going to be a qualification process to ensure if this is a good match for you, if this is good timing. And I'll also share some more details of what that would look like on a personal basis for working together and guiding you through the roadmap to support you on your business journey. So roadmap, if you want to have a chat, and then guide. Comment guide if you would like me to send you the free resources afterwards. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for everybody for being here. It means the world to me. I will see you all in the comments. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will talk to you soon. Take care.